Hi, I'm Todd Fahnestock, author of The Wishing World, and this is The Wishing World History Part 7. Thanks for joining me on the ride. Last time we talked about the Wishing World history, we talked about my trip to Carbondale and how we got yet another group of people affirming that they loved the story. So I started to think that maybe this wasn't just a passing fancy, some stupid little story that I put together for my kids. I started to think that this was the universe speaking to me, that this was important with a capital I, and that I needed to figure out a way to get this story on paper. Whether I gagged on the boredom or not, I had to write it down. I had to, even if I was only a scribe and not actually a writer in this particular instance, I needed to get the story down. So, with this head of steam, I sat down at the computer and I failed again. I couldn't do it. I didn't have a personal stake. It was like they were little paper cutouts talking to one another. And I just didn't, none of my fears were invested. Like I wasn't putting my own fears into the character. I wasn't putting my own desires into the characters. They were just doing these funny, fanciful things. And so instead of pulling my hair out, I sat down and really kind of thought about it. And then it hit me. My thunderstrike, my relampago, which is a really great word that I read in some novels that I really enjoyed a long time ago. But my relampago hit, the lightning strike of inspiration, and I realized I didn't have to put my fears in the story. I didn't have to put my desires into the story. I had to put my children's fears into the story, and that was when Lorelei was born. And Lorelei is a character that is based on my daughter. And I did something that she has not yet forgiven me for. I took Elowen's worst fear and I put it in the story. And then the engine started. And the words flew onto the page. Lorelei was my conduit because I cared about Lorelei. I cared more than anything about Lorelei. And that's the end of this week's Wishing World History. Thanks for joining me. Catch me next week for the next installment.